Computers, televisions, air conditioners, washing machines, and refrigerators are everyday necessities that are commonly utilized in homes and offices. With the increase of knowledge in technology, these products' consumption is increasing as there are new products are produced each year. As these products' usage increases, the electric and electronic equipment waste yield will also increase. Massive volumes of electronic industry wastewater were discharged into the lakes, rivers, and coastal regions throughout the last century, and these produced major pollution concerns which had a negative impact on the ecosystem and also human life. This wastewater, which contains a lot of heavy metals, will cause heavy metal contamination. Even when the metals dissolve or stay suspended in the wastewater after the treatment, the hazardous feature of the wastewater will persist, and this water will be released into the sewage stream. These heavy metals can be toxic to humans as they may be absorbed and deposited in the human body. Next, the objectives of this case study are to apply microbial fuel cell for electronic industry wastewater treatment to fulfill the principle of green chemistry in treating electronic industry wastewater and to reduce the heavy metal released into the environment by the electronic industry.
We start with the first part, which is the type of fuel cell that is suitable to treat electronic wastewater. So electronic industries discharge wastewater contain a significant numbers of metal which have been classified as hazardous substances. To address these issues, Microbial fuel cell have developed consider a potential innovation for reducing pollutions as they offer a solution for wastewater treatment by removal and recovery of heavy metals. They are bioelectrochemical system which use the catalytic activity of microorganisms in biofilm to oxidize organic or inorganic substances via generating electrical currents. For example, chromium-4 is a hazardous heavy metal that is transformed to chromium-3, a considerably less poisonous form. Hence, MFC transforming hazardous heavy metal into a less poisonous and benign component.
Next is the pros and cons of using MFC in wastewater treatment. The first advantage is it can be an alternative source of fuel where renewable catalysts as microorganisms are capable of self-generating and adapt easily to varied conditions. Next, MFC is environment-friendly and green technology where it has low carbon emission as MFC is not based on fossil fuel. The third advantage of MFC is bifunction, which it can be power generator and treating wastewater at the same time. This can benefit the areas with limited electricity source as MFC can be a better option for them to generate electricity and for wastewater treatment. Other than that, MFC also has operation stability where it can operate under burning conditions, operation at room temperature, and physiological pH as well as employing low-cost materials. As in the extraction of important chemicals from substrate, making microbial fuel cell potential for wastewater treatment and metal recovery via bioelectrocatalyst process. Last but not least, MFC demonstrates successful substrate to electricity conversion by converting chemical energy content in biodegradable organic materials into direct electric current. In this project, the proposed method is dual-chamber microbial fuel cell, where the performance of cathode in the dual-chamber MFC can be improved and maximized by controlling the pH, putting pure oxygen, and increasing the flow as well as addition of electron mediators in cathode. Proceed to the disadvantages of MFC. First and foremost, biofouling layers are present due to the bonding between membranes negatively charged sulfonic groups and multivalent cations will restrict the flow of protons over the membrane from the anode to the cathode, lowering the MFC power density. Next is the high maintenance and operating expenses due to the need of expensive proton exchange membranes and platinum-implemented cathode, as well as the usage of mediators and electrolyte to improve electron transfer efficiency. Besides, MFC generates low power, typically a few tens to a few watts per square meter of electron surface area. Low growth rate of a microorganism due to limiting factors such as low temperature also becomes one of the disadvantages of MFC. The sixth cons of MFC is high internal resistance, where due to intrinsic resistance, some electrodes require voltage to efficiently transmit electrons through the circuit. Last but not least, MFC requires a consistent voltage. However, voltage generation in MFC is comparably low and production stability is also highly variable. This will result in insufficient electricity to run a system like a biosensor.
For the third part, how fuel cell could solve environmental pollutions. So given of its biochemical dullness, high electrical conductivity, and also reasonably cheap cost, carbon-based materials are the most often utilized anode component in MFC. Meanwhile, due to its appealing catalytic capability, platinum is the most commonly utilized catalytic agent for oxygen reduction rate in the cathode. So microbe ingest the surrounding substrate molecules such as glucose and break them down, producing proton and electron. Proton diffuse across the proton exchange membrane, which is situated between the anode and the cathode, while the electrons are transported to the cathode through an outside connections. So the interchange of protons and electrons produce the generation of electricity. Then, heavy metals absorb an electron from the cathode, thus convert them from a hazardous form into a less toxic compound. As a result, MFC can help to reduce environmental pollution by converting harmful heavy metals into less toxic form, resulting in less harmful effect on the environment and humans. In addition, MFC can also generate power throughout the conversion process, thereby supplying energy, opening up new possibilities for sustainable energy production and bioremediations.
Next, I will present the relationship of microbial fuel cell or MFC with green chemistry. Firstly, MFC use microbe as a catalyst. The microorganisms are housed in the anode chamber and they work in supplying this chamber with the organic substrate that is present in the wastewater. The use of MFC treatment is one of the environmentally friendly methods because the bacteria are usually present in the microbial communities. They have the ability to selectively adapt to environment to regenerate and it is a continuous process, which means that the community do not need to replace the bacteria with the new one. Besides, in the MFC, the electrons that are created as a byproduct of microbial metabolism are put to use in the process of reducing the metal that are present in the wastewater. Through the oxidation of the substrate and the reduction of the metal, bacteria are able to preserve energy through the process of dissimilatory metal reduction that is mediated by the microorganism. Thus, the use of microbe as a catalyst is one of the green chemistry in the MFC. Secondly, MFC is designed for less hazardous synthesis. The use of MFC as an alternative source for the creation of electricity is seen as a trustworthy, clean and effective process that makes use of renewable sources and does not produce any hazardous byproduct. This is because the use of microorganisms, which is non-metal catalyst in the MFC, have shown to be an effective technology in recent years for the recovery and on-site conversion of the chemical energy into electricity. Other than cleaning the wastewater, the production of energy through MFC method is much more better than the combustion of fuel cell method. Furthermore, the burning of fossil fuels produce a large amount of carbon dioxide, which is a significant greenhouse gases and gives serious environmental impacts. Thus, the use of MFC in electronic industry wastewater treatment is another green chemistry principle, which will help in increasing the energy production, reducing the use of hazardous synthesis material and prevent from the carbon footprint production.
Okay, next is the budget for this study. So the preliminary cost study to determine the total material cost and capital cost of the 200-liter MFC system was written. So according to the table 1, the total material cost for producing one tubular MFC module is about 307.96 cents. 307 ringgit and 96 cents. Besides, based on the table 2, the MFC system employed in this project is expected to cost about 28,589 ringgit.
So, this is the timeline for our proposed method, which will take 2 years and 4 months, starting from July 2022 until the October of 2024.
Okay, for the conclusion, the microbial fuel cell for electronic industry wastewater treatment was accomplished. Secondly, the principle of green chemistry in treating the electronic industry wastewater was accomplished. Lastly, the heavy metal that released into the environment could be reduced via the microbial fuel cell. Thank you.